Hello guys, Life Hackster here. Today I'll show you my unboxing, checking out the settings, setup, and installation of the Viofo A129, a dual channel dash cam which has two full HD 1080p cameras for the front and back window of my car. First off, thank you for Viofo for sending me their dual channel dash camera. And I actually agreed to review their camera because I have been using their A119 version 2 since around November of last year. If you have seen the video of my Yi dashcam install in my wife's car, which I'll link in the description down below, the A119 and the Yi Ultra dashcam were purchased last year. And I have been using them for a while, but eventually ended up sticking with the Viofo in my car, just because it is more discreet and I like the video quality of the Viofo better than the Yi, even though the Yi goes up to 1520p and the Viofo at only 1440p. I will probably do a comparison video of that in my later videos. I'm excited to test this camera, and mostly because of two things. It uses a Sony Starvis sensor, which if you have been following my channel, I mentioned and demoed Starlight Night Vision, which uses this sensor in a couple of security Wi-Fi cameras that I have checked out before, and they're actually pretty good in low light conditions. And this A129 also has a 1.6 aperture, which should give us a pretty good low light footage. We will see later on. Let's get on with the unboxing and check out the specs. It is a dual channel full HD 1080p on both front and rear cameras. It has a Sony Starvis image sensor, which is in both cameras also. It has a 1.6 aperture with 7 elements glass, which together with a Starvis sensor should give us a good low light footage. It has a 140-degree field of view, which is pretty good in capturing footage even in multi-lane highways. It has a 2-inch LCD display. It has a dual-band built-in Wi-Fi, 2.4 and 5 GHz. Wi-Fi is used so that your phone can access the cameras wirelessly to view footage and also to change the settings. It has a GPS logger, which is an optional accessory, but is included in the package that I received. It has a G sensor, motion detection, and parking mode supported. Also, this dashcam uses a super capacitor instead of an internal LiPo battery, which is more tolerant to heat. Viofo sent me a couple of accessories that is compatible with the dash camera. So we also have a CPL filter to reduce glare in the front camera. It also came with an optional Bluetooth remote to easily and quickly lock important footage. These are optional accessories. Let's now open up the box. We have the main dash camera itself. It is a wedge type design just like their other dash cameras. You will see the 2-inch LCD screen, and we have the menu or snapshot or power button, pause or record button. Then we also have the video protect or playback button, mic on or off, live video source, PIP or Wi-Fi on or off button. On the right side, we have the USB port for the rear camera, which uses an older mini AB connection, an AV out port, and a mini USB port for power. In the front, we have the camera lens, which is a 7 elements glass and with a 1.6 aperture. You can adjust the lens up or down so that it will fit in different types and angles of windshield. On the left side of the camera, we have the reset button, memory card slot, and the microphone. The GPS module is already attached to the dashcam, which to use it, you need to use this mini USB port to power both the GPS and the camera. 3M mounting tape will be used to mount the dashcam to the windshield. Next, we have the rear camera, which has the same sensor and glass as the main front dashcam. The lens is also click adjustable up or down. On top is the USB port for the cable that will be coming from the main unit. Next, we have a trim removal tool, which I use this as a push tool to tuck in the cable to the headliner or trim. Then we have extra 3M mounting tape. We have some cable clips, Then we have a 4 meter or 13 feet car charger USB cable, a car charger adapter with 2 USB ports. Then the rear camera cable, 6 meters or just shy of 20 feet. It is labeled to which side goes to the front and the rear camera. We then have the mounting plate for the rear camera, which already have the 3M mounting tape attached. Simply slide it in until it clicks to the rear camera. Lastly, we have the user manual. I'll be installing a 32GB high endurance card for this dashcam, but if you want, it is compatible to up to 128GB cards. I bought a couple of them from SanDisk and another one from Samsung. I will link these cards in the description down below. On dashcam guys, you need to put in high endurance cards just because the camera records continuously and also because of the heat, especially in summertime. I have regular cards failed on me, and since I have been using high endurance cards, I haven't had any issues since then. Also, I'll be installing the polarizing filter, which helps in cutting glare and improve the overall clarity of the footage. Let's check out the settings. First is the resolution, and when the rear camera is plugged in, the only resolution available is 1080p at 30 frames per second on both cameras. When you unplug the rear camera, you will have the option for 30 or 60 FPS at 1080p or 720p resolution for the main dash camera. Then we have the bitrate, which has low or high setting. Live view source, which is the footage that will show in the screen. Front only, rear only, front picture-in-picture, and rear PIP. Loop recording, which you can choose the time for each video file. Off 1 minute, 2, 3, 5, or 10 minutes. WDR, wide dynamic range, which should be on if you want a balanced exposure on the footage. Exposure if you want to manually tweak the exposure to your liking for both front and rear cameras. Parking mode, which the dashcam needs to be hardwired and it will basically record when there is motion or impact has been detected. You have a choice how many frames per second the camera will record. There is even a time-lapse recording option, which you can choose the time interval between shots. Motion detection, in which the camera will start recording if there is movement in front of the camera. Once the movement stops for 60 seconds, it stops recording and goes back to standby motion detection mode. GPS, if you have GPS module, you can turn it on or off. Speed unit, if you want miles per hour or kilometers per hour. G-sensor sensitivity, off, low, medium, and high. Viofo recommends setting it to low. Then we have Wi-Fi, off, 2.4 or 5 GHz connection. If you can, 5 GHz is the way to go. 2.4 is too slow in downloading footage for me. We have date stamp, GPS, and camera model stamp if you want it shown on the footage. You can toggle it on or off. There are a lot of other settings like in recording audio, on or off, screensaver, boot delay, and changing date and time. Then there's some more like time zone, language, beep sound, frequency, image rotation, formatting the micro SD card, format warning, default setting, and a few more which I think are not necessary. But that's good, it has a lot of options in the settings and you can customize it to your needs. Time for installation. Tuck in both power cable and the cable for the rear camera inside the headliner. I'm routing the wires to the A pillar, which there's one important thing to do if you want to go this route and your car has side window airbags. Avoid it as much as possible. And in my case, I have one in my A pillar, and this is the only way down to the kick panel. So I have to route the wires behind the airbag unit so that it will not be in the way when it activates. Do not put anything in front of the airbags. I route the wires down to the kick panel and to the center console for the power supply, and to the side rocker panel going all the way to the back and up to the C pillar, and the wire tucked in the rear headliner for the rear camera connection. Let's check out some footage. This is the audio and video test of the Viofo dual channel dash cam. This is what you can hear in the front camera. And this is what you can hear in the rear camera. At nighttime, when there are light posts lighting up the street, the Viofo has a pretty good footage. The 1.6 aperture and the Sony Starvis sensor works as advertised. The only thing I noticed is the light glare, and I think this is how it is going to be because of the sensitive sensor and the wide open lens. The glare is more apparent in the rear camera just because of the car's headlights. You can still read the license plates though if the car is directly behind you. There are a couple ways to get the footage from the camera. The traditional way is to remove the micro SD card and plug it in your computer and view and download the footage. In the movie folder will be the footage taken by the camera, and there is a subfolder named RO, which the lock footage are saved. The footage from the front and rear cameras are separate, and to know which one is which is the letter at the end of the file. F is for the front camera and R is for the rear. You can easily view and save the footage, and I think this is still the faster way to search and download any videos that you want to get from the camera. The other way is using Wi-Fi. First, make sure the Wi-Fi is on in the dashcam. You then go to your Wi-Fi settings in your phone and click on network that has a Viofo name on it. You can then go to the app and click connect your camera. If you choose 5 GHz on the Wi-Fi settings, you'll be connected way faster as compared to 2.4 GHz. From here, you can see the live view, and to view the recordings, you first need to pause the camera's recording, then click on the album, and you will see the thumbnail of the recorded videos. Click on the thumbnail that you want to view, or you can download the footage by selecting the download arrow button. The footage will be saved in your phone's album. Now in this traffic light, I'm gonna take off the polarizing filter and see how the footage looks like. There you go, the polarizing filter is off. As to the polarizing filter, I didn't see any difference when it is on or off, because the camera is pretty good in compensating, or I guess that the wide dynamic range is doing its job. The windshield glare is there though, even when it is installed. Overall, dual dashcam in my opinion doesn't have a significant benefit when compared to have two separate dashcams installed. The A129 comes with a 20-foot cable connecting the rear camera to the main unit. And if you route this cable as recommended, I only have about a foot of extra length of cable and I only have a mid-size car. If you have a van or a bigger SUV, you might run out of cable, and at this time, Viofo is not selling longer cables or an extension. These cables are mini USB AB type, which is not being used anymore. So I don't know if you can find extension cables for it. Price is another factor that you might want to consider. You can purchase two comparable 1080p dashcams for less than $100. For the price of the dual-channel dashcams, you can purchase one front camera at 2K or even a 4K resolution and a 1080p in the rear window, just like in my wife's SUV setup. This dual-channel Viofo though has a lot of features for a dashcam. I like the motion detection and parking mode feature, but I do need to hardwire it. I'll probably be testing this more thoroughly in another video. And for the little Bluetooth remote control, Viofo took great lengths to design and make a remote control with only one function, which is to turn on lock or emergency recording, which you can also easily push the little triangle button on the dashcam. They should have designed it so that can have or the end user can change or add a use for it, like turning on parking mode or motion detection, for example. Right now, to turn on this function, you need to go to multiple steps in the settings, and Viofo is recommending to use the motion detection function only when your car is parked, because when you're driving and when it is on, the camera might not record continuously. So it makes sense to have this feature having a shortcut button to turn on or off when a user is using it every time they start and stop driving. Anyways, that's it guys. Let me know if you have a different brand of dashcam that takes better footage day and night, and I might check it out, and we'll do comparison videos. I'm interested in 4K resolution, which Viofo or the Yi doesn't offer right now. I'm hoping you like this video, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to get product reviews like this video, product updates, comparison videos, and long-term reviews. Thank you.